Texas Podcast Massacre contains spoilers and adult language. For more horror, visit us at our website at texaspodcastmassacre.com.
To another episode of Texas Podcast Massacre, coming to you from Houston, Texas. I'm your host, Mitch, and with me, as always, is the Nev Campbell to my Ghostface, Nate.
Sucks to be him.
That's not even from this movie. What movie are we doing, Nate?
We're doing both.
What? We're doing a double feature?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. First time for the last time. Welcome to another episode of Texas Podcast Massacre, where each week we take a look at a different horror movie and debate a horror-related topic. This week, look, we've been behind. I've been, I took a trip to New York.
Hope we didn't interact with any cops that are from your roommate. Hopefully,
did not.
Not.
We're gonna talk about. We're going to talk about a couple things. We're going to talk about Scream 6 and Renfield. Very similar movies. Almost identical in every way.
The 1930... No, I'm just kidding.
Right. What? I don't even
It's
know.
a very me thing to like come up with like a quadruple feature from like all four.
We should try to review every week. We should just add a new movie. See how many movies we can simultaneously review at the same time.
This sounds like heaven for me. This sounds perfect.
Sounds like, well, there you go. Well, look, we're gonna try to somehow talk about Renfield and Scream 6. Just to do it. I don't know, Nate. These
the sexiest of the Scream movies.
Now, unfortunately, Lisa was unable to join us for this one. She has seen Renfield. She's left me some notes to relay for her. So
quick Lisa review.
She is not. Yeah. Well, quick. You want me to do it now?
Yeah. What is Lisa's review? Yeah.
Lisa. So Lisa enjoyed Renfield. She thought it was a fun, lighthearted romp, if you will. It was obviously not scary. Very bloody and gory, so she was not a super fan, but it was also one that's like so over the top, like it's
comical.
She described it like a Tarantino film, like it's just okay. There's just a lot of blood here, cool. But I think she liked everyone. She's a big Awkwafina fan. We'll talk about her and her performance in a bit. And of course, I mean Nick Cage at his Nick Cageiest. I don't. Where does this rank in the all-time? I mean, this isn't the debate question I had planned, but let's just get into it. Where does this rank in the Nick Cage pantheon of roles? Like,
it's good. It's good because he's over the top, but. Well, I don't know. It depends. Do you want your Cage like truly unhinged, or do you want, this is kind of like almost like perfected unhinged. You know what I mean? And look, the total opposites of this are like, this is like chewing the scenery, but in like a good, well-designed way. And then in Vampire's Kiss, another vampire Nick Cage type movie, he's chewing the scenery in an off the rails, absolutely batshit, pun intended, way. This one is not as unhinged. It's restrained, chewing the scenery, very enjoyable. So I would say this is high. This is higher up there, way better than the something whatever of Massive Talent. I liked him much better in this.
Really, you liked him better in this than the unbearable weight of interesting.
Oh, much better.
I mean, the other one it's a much better movie, I would say, than Renfield, because I love that it's very meta, right? I mean, it's very Nick Cage doing a sort of.
Well, I watched this and Scream 6 back to back, so like I had the meta already covered.
No, that's fair.
Maybe that was it. It's like I'm set on Nick Cage meta-ness.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. I thought this is upper middle Cage for me.
Mm-hmm.
Just Cage. The movie itself, there's a little bit less going on for there, but
like this is near what Mom and Dad, right? I mean, I wish there was a Sawzall in this one. There practically was, frankly.
Oh God, Sawzall. I mean, I forgot about. Yeah,
this is we're in this like delightfully manic era of Nick Cage. Like because there was always this kind of manic energy, and what I've always liked about Nick Cage.
Well,
when we all took him as more of a
cream cheese ass in Renfield.
Well, that's fair.
I don't know.
That's fair. That's fair.
If we're doing like Renfield, Vampire's Kiss, Mom and Dad Nick Cage is probably closer to the Vampire's Kiss, unhinged Cage, but more of the modern smoothed out a little bit,
sure.
Kind of like this one too. So that one is a good middle. That's a good reference there.
I think, man, I don't know. This is certainly a better Nick. I mean, Nick Cage clearly was thrilled about this role. Like, I mean, this is all he was all for it. So, this is certainly better than him and Snake Eyes.
Well, I love Snake Eyes.
I'm not saying I don't love Snake Eyes. I'm just saying
I like Snake Eyes.
Nick Cage at his one of his best.
I love Nick Cage and Mom and Dad.
Now, my debate question I had for this was where does this Dracula stack up with all the others? And to me, it's a different answer.
Stack.
I mean, it is the bottom of the coffin.
Oh, in terms of the actual Dracula itself?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Why is that?
Well, I mean, think about it. Like, of all really more of all the different performances. Sorry. So, like, I mean, is Gary Oldman at the top for Dracula performances? Maybe Bela Lugosi, if you really want to be a snob about it, which I'm sure.
Is Gary Oldman at the top?
Yeah. All right. Well, who are you rating? Because, I mean, how many of them are there? There's Bela Lugosi. There's Christopher Lloyd, or not Christopher Lloyd. That would be great. That would be great if there was a Christopher Lloyd.
I'm gonna bite you with the power of 10,000 gigawatts or something. I was gonna say Christopher Lee.
Christopher Lee is what I meant, but I just now I'm just envisioning someone pulling out a fucking crucifix, going, "Oh, great Scott!"
Yeah.
Christopher Lee.
Dracula? Are you forgetting Dracula?
Yeah, no, I'm not.
2000 and Dracula 3000?
I'm forgetting. Yes, I forgot all those. I was hoping you were going to say Leslie Nielsen and Dracula Dead Loving It, because he's up there, and I'd have that one over the Nick Cage one.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about that.
You didn't like Leslie Nielsen and Dracula Dead and Loving It?
I love that. I don't know. What about Gerard Butler was in Dracula 2000. Who was the guy who was in Blade 3?
Oh God. You know what? Thank you. You've at least settled it that there is people below this version of Dracula.
See? There's a lot of them.
He's not the bottom. It's still kind of the lower half, but Oh,
I guess that's Nosferatu. I was thinking of.
Yeah, that's not really Dracula, but I get what you're.
Yeah. Okay. I had two. I was gonna go with there, but I guess I will not, because that wouldn't count.
But John Malkovich.
Does Blackula count? Black Dracula is still Dracula.
Does Black Exploitation Dracula make it? I'll allow it.
Okay, still not as good as some of the other ones, but. But that's fine. So
who's your top? Who's your top then? Christopher Lee. I'm guessing your top.
Christopher Lee is just unimpeachable.
That's fair.
Number one for me. I mean,
Bela Lugosi to me is like the classic.
Yeah.
Like,
Bela Lugosi is
like,
incredible.
I'd put Lee over Lugosi because Lee was just a more terrifying Dracula.
Are you sure we're not counting Nosferatu, which is basically
We're
the
not
same?
counting Nosferatu.
Because I would put both Nosferatu, but Klaus Kinski is just awesome.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying we're sticking to Dracula.
Fine. In that case, I never watched like the Dracula Netflix one from the Sherlock dudes.
Okay.
I never saw that, but I heard good things, but I don't know that one.
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, William Marshall for Blackula is still pretty good. There's some good ones. There's some good ones in there. Yeah.
So okay, look, last question, and then we could talk about this movie a little bit before we talk about Scream 6. Okay, we were supposed to have the monsterverse because everything has to have a cinematic universe, right?
Yeah, the Mummy with Tom Cruise.
Yeah, and except they screwed up because they casted Tom Cruise in a Mummy film, and basically the whole movie was about him trying to bang the Mummy, or the Mummy was trying to bang him. So it was very confusing.
Wait, what?
It was a psychosexual.
I never saw it.
It was a psychosexual adventure, and I don't think it was supposed to be. And then also fucking Gladiator shows up, and big reveal he's Jekyll and Hyde. Cool. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Spoiler. It flopped. What if we had a monsterverse, but it's really just Nick Cage portraying all the monsters?
Oh, I like that a lot.
Like a Nick Cage mummy would be fantastic.
I don't know if he'd be that good of a mummy if he can't talk.
But he doesn't have to be in the wrapped up mummy the whole time. Like, I mean, the Brendan Fraser mummy isn't like wrapped up the whole time.
Please tell me
emo tips running around, just.
I mean, yeah, I would love to see Nick Cage as like, I don't know if he's a good creature from the Black Lagoon or anything like that.
I mean, if anyone could do it, who else would you cut? Nick Cage could pull it off.
I don't know, because
Wolfman, he'd be a great Wolfman. You got to at least give that.
Yes, definitely. I'll give you that he already was Fu Manchu and Werewolf from the SF. So I mean, you're 90% of the way.
Oh my god,
already.
what if he did? What if the Wolfman MonsterVerse was Werewolf Woman of the SS?
Yeah,
is that the first Rob Zombie movie you're excited to see?
Yes, that's the first one. That's the first. Now, I like Lords of Salem.
I know, but you weren't excited to see that, Nate. You begrudgingly did.
I wasn't. It surprised me. Yeah,
it was a lot of me saying it's really good. I promise you're gonna like
it. What are you from, like Men's Warehouse? Like, you're gonna like this Rob Zombie movie. I guarantee it.
You're gonna like the ways this sound. You're gonna like this one song they play on repeat. I guarantee it.
It'll definitely change your life. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that would be great.
What if Nick Cage was Samara? What do we think? What do we think about that?
I don't want to think about that
because that's your favorite. I'm thinking like in the MonsterVerse, your favorite is Samara. What if we go Nick Cage as Samara? What if Samara's dad was also terrible? They go
the whole family, the mom, the dad, and Samara, all Nick Cage.
So this is like the clumps or something. You're straight clumping it. Okay,
I'm gonna die in 7 days.
What if it was Invasion of the Body Snatchers? What if it was Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but everyone who gets body snatched then starts looking like Nick Cage? It's like men, but it's all Nick Cage, but only after they change.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot.
That would actually be incredible.
What if it was just look? Maybe that's where they screwed up and no one went to see it. You should have done men, but instead of the really like the good actor they got, they should have gotten
Rory something.
Yeah. I remember him from Penny Dreadful. He was the Frankenstein monster, which that was a underrated show, which could have used some Nick Cage.
That's your Nick Cage instead of
here's a better question, Nate. What's something that would not be improved by Nick Cage?
I think he has to talk. So if there's no talking, I think it's a downgrade.
No,
for
because
him,
he would just make
potentially.
crazy ass faces because he's gonna over emote, Nate.
But I'm talking about Mike Myers, Jason. It's all masked, so he doesn't have the physical
that's the thing.
imposing.
I don't think it's the
That's where
silence.
he's-
I think it's if you like him in a mask, like you have to see his face. Like if you put him in a mask, I agree, not good. Even if he's talking, not great. I think you have to see his face.
I feel like I haven't seen every Nick Cage movie, but Nick Cage, how has he not been like a mad scientist a la, Young Frankenstein? That's really the horror role I think he should have. He needs to be bringing about the monster, explaining, you caught me monologuing. He needs to be doing that. And then you get all the reactions from the monster turning on him, your face reactions that you want. But I just can't imagine him like in a mask or like he's got to be emoting and talking. So like the strong, silenty, like menacing thing, he has less of that. So that's probably where he falls flat. But mad scientist just needs to happen. Absolutely. Like for him, Frankenstein. He did Dracula. Now he's Frankenstein, and I think a Wolfman throw in would be perfect. That's like those are the three.
I would love to see him as Hannibal Lecter.
I don't think he has the physical presence. That's what I don't know.
I mean, I think because here's the thing. I think obviously you have the most amazing performance from Anthony Hopkins, right? Then you somehow improved it with Mads Mikkelsen, who like over delivered on what he needed to do for that show, right? I don't
know if he improved. I think.
I disagree, but I love Mads. I almost like. I mean, I like it better, frankly, than the original. His portrayal of Hannibal, but it's a different Hannibal. It's a Hannibal that's free. It's a Hannibal that is integrated into society. I want to see Nick Cage as batshit crazy Hannibal.
I think you say Batman.
Oh well, there's no short. We could spend the whole episode talking about. There's no shortage of things I want to see Nick Cage in. All right. Well, look. Let's talk about Renfield, the film. Now, Nate, you begrudgingly went to kind of see this. I think we were excited when it first came out, and then you got less excited over time.
That's correct.
Was that a like a defense mechanism? Like, were you just purposefully setting the bar lower for yourself so you wouldn't be as disappointed?
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't. Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's it's like a mid-tier movie, which is, to be honest, those are the kind of movies I like. So it was but it was good. Yeah. To be honest, we were talking about this before in the Last Voyage of the Demeter is the Dracula movie I'm most excited about this year. So
that's fair.
And that's coming out in like a couple months. So
well, so what did you think about this?
This is like a nice fun romp. This is fun, like in What We Do in the Shadows is kind of fun. It's in that mold, closer, which is fine.
Yeah,
I got no problems with that.
I really liked. I did like a lot of how this movie's really it's really about like being in an abusive relationship and really focusing on that piece of it and kind of playing it up for comedy a bit, obviously, but I like that take of it on Renfield, right? They could have done, I think, a bunch of different things, but like him wanting to basically be free and just being stuck in this thing was I thought pretty cool. I thought Nick Holt was really good in the movie.
He's great. Watch him in The Great. He's great there too.
I didn't care as much for Awkwafina in this movie.
I love Awkwafina.
And that's my problem. There's something about like I don't know what it is. Awkwafina's hilarious. And then yet when she's in this movie, it's like, what is her point in this movie? She like I don't know, man. I think they just need to let Awkwafina be Awkwafina. You know what I mean?
No, she's branching out. Hey, look, you gotta. It's not like Adam Sandler didn't do Uncut Gems all in one time. You gotta. It's the start of the pivot, maybe. You know what I mean?
I guess. I don't know, man. It just was.
She's still in a comedy, but she was playing it a little straighter than usual. Yeah. So you didn't care for that?
I didn't care for that.
Oh, I liked her.
I think she's awesome. In this movie, it wasn't so much Awkwafina, more just the character. I think is what I just didn't like. I don't think I would have liked it if anyone was in it.
That's fair.
The character just didn't make a whole it just.
Yeah, look, I'm not gonna say
this whole thing with the sister and all this stuff. It just felt all shoehorned. Okay.
Well, okay. Well, let me get into that. The story is garbage. Let me just the dad dying and like the whole police force is like corrupt,
that's
to a comical degree.
That's a lot more what I mean. Yeah.
Chris Rock from the Book of Saw movie
Viral.
is just like, it's just like, wow, I had it pretty good. And that in that pretty corrupt precinct, like I had it pretty solid at that point. Yeah, it's like ridiculous. I mean, but then you got Ben Schwartz. You got Ben Schwartz being Ben Schwartz, so that is a huge positive for me. So,
100%.
Anything he does is basically
Don Ralphio showing up and showing out. 100%. The story.
Well, and in sense. This one, he's Teddy Lobo.
Great name, solid name. I want to legally change my name to that.
Yeah, then you have like the president of Earth from The Expanse as his mom. She's great too. She's a great actress. So
will you change your last name to Lobo so we could be the Lobo Bros? Will you do that for me?
The Low Bros.
The Low Bros.
When they go high, we go low bros.
I love it. I love it. I'll tell everyone to stay on the high road. That way there's more room down for me in the bottom.
And that's why he was friends with Ben Schwartz's character in that. You're welcome. See?
I love it.
There you go.
I mean, there's not a lot to really talk about this movie. I mean, the action scenes are awesome in terms of like super bloody and violent.
Ridiculous gore.
Very boys.
Rips the guy's face off. I literally go, oh, out loud on that one. Rip the guy's face off. Like, in a pretty realistic looking way. Then at one point just tore his arms off and just like beat up a bunch of people with someone's arms. So that was good too. That was fun stuff.
It just kind of toward the end, I think it just kind of started feeling more like a normal like superhero movie, right? Like now everyone's got vampire powers, and now it's the same big fight up to the final boss type of thing.
The ending was not good.
No.
So I was just gonna say the ending was not great.
No.
It's Nick Cage, good. Nicholas Hoult, good. Ben Schwartz, good. Ben Schwartz's mom's good. Awkwafina's solid, but the character in that whole subplot was not great. And then the plot is just absolutely ridiculous. Although I thought the CGI for like the bat changing and some of that stuff was pretty good.
Yeah.
So it's just looking like, hey, Dracula's a narcissist and Renfield's, codependent on him and has kind of like been beaten down and not in a toxic relationship. And it's great when he comes into his apartment and he's wearing the hilarious like pastel sweater.
Yeah.
And then he starts reading from the book. And it's like, this is great. I love it. He's trying to improve himself. That's
all
good.
of the Dracula stuff was great. It was the other story they were trying to do this to stretch it out. This really should have stuck with the more like life after Beth and even the other zombie flick Nick Hoult was in, where it's like the rom-com, but zom-com, right? Zombie. And neither should have stayed more that indie feel, and I feel like it would have done better. I think they tried to swing a little too big because they had to get like like actiony, all these action sequences in. And some was good. It just toward the end, I was just like, all right, we're just doing this to stretch this shit out, aren't we?
It was a little bit of that, yeah. That was the downside.
Yeah.
But I would say very enjoyable movie. I'd rent that or watch that with someone. It's unsuspecting victim friendly if you can get around like the ridiculousness of the gore, but most people can if it's, like so comical and over the top that it's just not realistic in any way. Like that usually isn't too bad. So yeah, it's not. I
guess this might be the most lightning fast thing we've reviewed ever done. What's your final cut?
Final cut.
Nate. Now this is a Dracula with multiple teeth. I mean, although the Dracula is two fangs, this guy, just a whole mouth of them.
Yeah, he has two big ones, but they're all there. Then he wants to like take over the whole world, and then it just sucked. 5. I give it a 5.
Yeah, I'd give it a 6.
Okay. Okay.
There's not let's talk about this one. I mean, it's fine. Right. It's fine. All right, so let's talk about a different one. Let's move on to Scream 6. That was the other big no. Now, Nate, I have to let me start off at least by saying this. I went to see Scream 6 by myself, like opening night, and I am staring at a ghost face cup with a little ghost face action figure that sits on top of it for your soda. So a little bit of bias, to be fair. I am just a big mark for the Scream franchise. So I will put that disclaimer in front of my review. Nate, Scream 6, thoughts? What was your Scream 6 experience like?
I thought it was bad. So
you thought it was bad?
I thought it was bad. I did not enjoy it very much.
I thought it was like one of the better ones of the franchise. I guess both of those, to be fair, both of those things could be the same, but
it's now a Marvel. It's just a Marvel. There's just Marvel movies now.
But you didn't. Okay. Oh, okay. So this is why I'm glad we're talking. I'm glad we did this combined thing. I couldn't have left it just on Renfield. Like, yeah, it's fine. Really, you didn't like it? What didn't you like about it?
They had to shoehorn literally every single person from everything that ever existed and come up with the most convoluted backstories to make it fit. So I hated it.
But besides that, what didn't you like?
I just hate the setup. It's like it's gotta be like the other person's family, but like they don't know the name. Like they already did that in the second movie.
I'm sorry, Nate. Have you never seen a Scream movie? They're all that way.
No, but they're not. This is like it's like
Nate,
doing
the third
it
one
again.
was like it was the boyfriend's mom's roommate.
I know. The third one is my least favorite, and this is probably my second least favorite. Yeah.
I don't know. I enjoyed it, but I'll tell you what I enjoyed about it more was, the story around the protagonist, around her kind of coming into this whole, dealing with this, like, I don't know if it's like so much survivor's guilt or just the trauma from the first one. Cause like everyone else, whenever there's a sequel, right? Everyone's just like moving on with their life in the next one, right? They have a little bit of anxiety or whatever. And that's about it. She's like full on like, no, we're hunkering down. I'm following you to college. You're, locked down.
Yeah. And it did absolutely nothing. And the killers were able to get everywhere at any time.
Well, yes, because nothing you can do will stop bad things from happening, Nate. That's the moral of life. But here's
they got in their apartment like anytime they went like any room near any person. It was ridiculous.
They got sloppy toward the end.
They were beyond sloppy. It was ridiculous. I agree with you on the two sisters storyline.
Yeah.
All that. Loved it. Great. I'm on board for that. Everything else that they have to contrive, I'm using the word contrive on purpose here because it's ridiculous, to get them into more of these scenarios is what I don't like. So both sisters, Jen Ortega, Melissa Barrera, they're great. The Carpenter sisters.
I'll say this about this movie. This movie did so much better when it would stop remembering that it was a Scream movie. And maybe that's kind of to your point, that there are parts in there where like it was doing some really cool stuff that a lot of slashers don't do, or that, were a little kind of inventive for the franchise. You're like, oh, that's cool. And then they'd have to remind themselves, oh shit, we're Scream. Someone talk about the movie rules real quick. And it's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, there's self-referential, there's meta, and then there's just like, this is way too much. And it became that for me. It's like, okay,
because
let's still talking about the, like, okay, it's either is or is it, like, just stop saying it 100 times.
Because
like,
let's talk about one scene that I think makes this movie great. And that's the bodega. When Ghostface gets a shotgun, did you not like perk up a bit more? Like, oh fuck. Like, they're safe, right? It's way too early for the main two girls to get like blasted.
The core four.
Yeah. But Jesus. But I mean, didn't you like at least like kind of like, oh shit, like dude's got a gun now? Like, I don't know. I kind of perked up in the theater a bit when that happened. I'm like, oh damn. Because I mean, Jason's never holding a shotgun. You're right. Like, Michael Myers not coming across with an AK. It was, I thought, a really good way of changing it up, besides him just like chasing them down with a knife and running around just swinging it wildly. I thought that was a really cool change up, and of course it's just for that scene, then you never see it again. But I thought that was that added an extra level of just like tension, right? I have a feeling you disagree with me, but
I don't know. It was fine. Hey,
fine.
Let me walk you through. Let me walk you through my thoughts in this. Okay, so movie starts. That's
the scariest sentence I've heard.
Maybe this should be the next trip movie. Make it more interesting.
Trip to Nateland. All right, let's go.
Okay, so the beginning of the movie got Samara Weaving. Love it. I don't think I saw her in any of the promotional things. So I'm like, oh, she's dead. Cool.
Oh, right. Yeah. You know how
she's Drew Barrymore. That's fine. I'm in.
Yeah.
Doing that, talking about movies from the jump. It's like, okay, we're doing this again. But fine. Samara Weaving, I'm interested. Then it's like a 79-step process to get her in an alley. Just painstakingly terrible for this. Then she gets murdered. Okay. And there's people all about, and it just does not matter. She screams very loudly. So I'm not 100% sure what happened, because there were people all over that street. But fine. Okay. She gets murdered. Okay. Then that person takes their mask off. Right. Okay. So then you're like, oh, that was the killer. That was pretty quick. We know who the killer is, right? Like that was real fast. So you're like, oh, okay. The killer is the guy from Grand Budapest Hotel. Okay. All right. Cool. Then you see the person's face. You're like, oh, okay. Then that guy gets killed by a ghost face. So there's like two ghost faces, one who kills someone else, and then another ghost face kills two other ghost faces. Right? This is the beginning of the movie. I'm like, there's 10,000 ghost faces in this movie. Why? Why is that happening? What is Scream 7 going to be? Is there going to be 10? Is there going to be like 10 ghost faces at some point?
Hell yeah.
Is that what we're getting to? Like, a ghost face kills somebody, and then their friend who's a ghost face gets killed. Well, and then they also get killed as a ghost face because the other ghost face want to kill them first. Like, there's like a 10,000 people line of trying to kill these people. I don't understand what's happening. It just seems so ridiculous to me. I don't. Yeah, that was early, so that set the tone for me. That's probably coloring my opinion. I'm like, this is like a Russian doll of just ghost faces everywhere. What, there's like a ghost face, then another one, then like two. They're like working. Then there's like, we're spoiling the movie. And there's three. And I'm just like, okay, now it's just like, I don't know, like the family that stays together. Like what? I don't even know what's happening at the end. I mean, I know it's happening, but it's like there's just so many ghost faces. It's just crazy. I don't. There's gonna be a basketball game, and the Scream 7 is gonna be a basketball game. There's gonna be 5 ghost faces, 5-on-5. They're gonna have like core 4 people, which they mentioned numerous times in the movie, which I actually laughed at. I thought it was pretty funny. Then they're gonna have a random friend. That's gonna be the expendable one. That person's gonna get killed during the game, but they're still gonna win. I don't know. I'm just gonna pitch Scream 7 stuff. There's 5 ghost faces in a basketball game, a la Teen Wolf.
Now, would you have liked this movie better? So here's where I thought they might be going with this, because this is her daughter. You know, this is the main boyfriend's daughter, right?
Okay.
There's a theory that Stu didn't die in the first one, that he's been in jail or whatever.
God.
Would you?
I hate this so much.
Would you have preferred it instead of just 3 randos that are tied to like the killer in the Scream 5, that it was Stu? Because that at least, but listen, at least that ties back to she's having to make this choice of following her dad and that versus.
I don't want it to tie back. I don't want anything to tie back. I want there to be different people. I don't want Nev Campbell anywhere near this. They killed Gail Weathers off finally. That's fine. Totally okay with that.
Oh, she ain't dead. Here's my problem. No, not that many people died in this movie. Really died. Like the boyfriend comes back. Nev Campbell is just off screen enough where you don't know for sure that she's dead. So she could always show back up in Scream 7 as a random, like, oh, she made it.
Well, she's not dead. She was hunkering down. What do you mean? She was hunkering down.
Yeah.
I look, there was some good, like the ladder thing was just kind of inventive for a setup. I mean, the kill wasn't like super great, but like, oh yeah, that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And like very New York. So like they're using it like, you know, it's like, hey, when Home Alone 2 went to New York, they mixed it up for New York specific, right? So not nearly enough pigeons in this one, but that's fine. But yeah, they had to contrive everything so much to get it to tie together. I was just like, you can do a new thing. Like you can do something new if you really you really wanted to. I don't know. It was just so much. It was just so much. I don't know. Now, Mitch, so that there's that, but there's also this Matt Bettinelli Olpin and Tyler Gillett are the directors of this movie, right? And they did VHS together. They're combo. They Ready or Not, right? Previous episode. They did part of Southbound. They did the last Scream, this Scream, back-to-back years, 2022 and 2023. So that's ridiculous. But their 2 upcoming movies, Mitch, are Escape from New York and Untitled Monster Thriller from Universal Pictures. That's right. Are they rebooting the monsterverse? Dan Stevens, Catherine Newton from the, what was the name of that movie? Freaky, right?
Yeah.
And then Melissa Barrera from this movie are the 3 stars. What do you think about that for an untitled Universal monster movie?
I don't know what to think about that.
I'd rather watch that movie.
Can I ask you a question, Nate? Are slashers done?
Are slashers done?
Like, have we just reached the point where a slasher film is just not as effective?
I would say almost.
Like, and don't get me wrong,
I don't know.
I love slasher movies. I love, particularly like the old 80s and even 90s.
Am I bringing you down on Scream? Still like Scream. I just don't
a little bit. I've been excited to talk to you, and then it was like, oh no.
Is X a slasher?
I don't know.
I like X. I like X and Pearl. Those are good.
They're kind of slashers. I mean, do you consider Texas Chainsaw Massacre a slasher?
The most recent one, sure. The most recent movie, that was a bad movie, but that school bus scene.
Oh yeah,
awesome.
him getting canceled is great.
And then Terrifier 2 is a slasher. So there's still some, Art the Clown might be propping it up, to be honest with you.
Yeah, fair.
Art the Clown might be kind of doing.
I think that's the problem, is that with slashers, there's what new ground is left to tread on it. Like, it's all just kind of beats.
Megan 2.
But Megan's not. Megan's more in the killer doll subgenre of horror, not just.
Yeah, that's
slashers.
true. I don't know. I mean,
there's a little bit of overlap with all of this kind of stuff, right? But
yeah, X and Pearl and hopefully Maxine ties that off. Like those I liked quite a bit.
Sure.
So like Halloween, when Halloween ends.
Like, I guess that's my question. Like
that ended roughly, and it's just, I don't know.
Like because I'm trying to think, like, when I see a movie for a slasher now, like a new slasher, I'm not near as excited about like that, and I don't think there's been a whole lot that have come out, frankly, because I just don't know what else.
Freaky, which I just referenced, like Freaky was pretty enjoyable, so I didn't mind that one. With the same,
I guess
that was okay.
It was okay, but like, is that like when you're like clamoring for? Freaky came out like mid-pandemic. It's just like, hey, I'm gonna go see a movie for a change. It's
I liked I'm
not saying it's a bad movie, but I'm just, that's what I mean. Like, what else is there for like and I'm trying to even think now, just for myself, like, what subgenre of horror do I even get excited for modern horror films? And some of them are hard to classify.
A24.
Some of them are hard to classify because of the whole, like what do you classify the Babadook as? You know what I mean? Like, it's maybe a monster,
supernatural, psychological, probably.
Yeah, it's probably all more psychological is maybe the subgenre there. I don't know. It's just sad.
What you're saying is the people are crying out. The people are clamoring for a new tourist trap. That's what you're basically saying.
And that's it for this week's episode. I'm just gonna.
They need a new Leprechaun. Although the latest Leprechaun, I enjoyed immensely. So that's not a slasher. That's just a comedy. But
Nate found a leprechaun he liked. No.
This is a new one. It was a totally new deal. It still was great. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you can do anymore is really the thing. It's been done a lot. Supernatural, you can go so many directions.
That's why, like, up until Hereditary, possession movies were so boring to me, because it's okay, cool. It's another version of The Exorcist, like beat by beat. It's random person starts acting weird. Yeah, now they're full on possessed. Now we have to bring on some holy person. Now things get much worse. And then, maybe they make it, maybe they don't. That's about the difference in it, right?
Wow, you really nailed that. You basically got it on that one.
Right? Yeah. Like, find me one possession movie that doesn't. And really, Hereditary. And frankly, you don't even know that's what the movie's about until like 3/4 way through. Perfect. Great movie. Maybe didn't appreciate it as much as I should have when I first watched it. But
you laughed hysterically.
I did laugh hysterically because it was, I don't know. I think my brain, like I've said this before, I think my brain just couldn't process what the hell I was watching.
It was awesome to see it for the first time in the theater. It was pretty great. I don't know. I don't know what else. Because we haven't had a Friday the 13th movie in over 10 years. Same for, we're like on almost like 10, 15 for that, and Nightmare on Elm Street, right? Because it's just like, what do you do? They reboot trilogy Halloween, and I think everyone was like, oh, the first Halloween, all right, like, okay. And then Evil Dies Tonight, and then it ended. Those were both bad. So they brought back Michael Myers for one solid one. So so that's good. I'll definitely give him that. but yeah, it's tough. I mean, if it wasn't for like Pearl and X, and then the Screams are keep going. But I mean, and Scream, the last Scream, and there was so much tied to it. But at least they brought in Huey, right? At least Huey was different-ish, right? Like he was new and untied to anything else, right? Just having seen the movies, that was kind of. Then they had to go this one, and then it's like his whole family comes back. At least the last Scream I liked better personally.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for those ones, I don't know. Fear Street. It's Terrifier. Art the Clown is going to single-handedly maintain
Art the Clown, because
slasher.
it's so unabashedly just crazy, you know.
Maybe that's the way you got to go at this point.
Right, but now, you know, I mean, because my only problem is otherwise what they do for slashers is it's just like, how gory can you be? Art works so much better because the character work is so good. And just coming up with a good like slasher character is not always going to be enough, right? Art just brings in that whole, hey, I know people don't like clowns, and also this dude is like laying people's skin straight off and pouring salt on their goddamn wound. Jesus.
But also doing hilarious 80s trying on sunglasses at a kiosk montage.
I made my sister, I forced my sister, who's terrified of clowns, to watch the whole section of that movie, both the costume, the Halloween shop, and the clown cafe scene. Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, Terrifier 2 makes a name for itself. I like it more than when we originally saw it for Fantastic Fest.
Yeah,
I'm appreciating it more now that I'm.
Yeah, you didn't want to go see that movie. You almost wanted to bail at midnight. I was like, you can do whatever you want. I'm going to Terrifier 2.
But then we talked with Art the Clown. He was super nice.
Because that was exactly why I wanted to go. Because I knew Art was going to be there, and I was like, yeah, I'm doing this. And then
it was real good. It was real good. So
that was also like the first night.
But like, think about it this way though. Like, yeah, maybe the genre is just kind of like, you know, like maybe this is like on the down slope, a couple gems here and there, but generally, because, you know, slashers, like late 70s, early 80s. I mean, like that's really the peak. And then ever since then, you throw a couple in, you know, here and there. You know, Final Girls went like back in time and she was her mom. That was kind of cool. You got to do something like that.
To be fair, we all would have thought the evil doll subgenre was dead, and here comes Megan. So, you know, again, it's possible that something new will come up. I think what it might be is like there just needs to be more of a break. There needs to be like a break for I do wonder. I mean, at a point, people are going to get tired of, I think, the elevated horror films.
That's when I think it comes back. It's gonna come back right on that down.
Because
slope.
I think because they're gonna get to a point where they're just more pretentious than they are actually like about anything.
That tipping point could be any day now.
Yeah, well, fair.
It could be any day now.
And I mean, and we'll see. I mean, you know, I do wonder. I mean, look, this episode has gone so far off the rails of a normal podcast, but I just, you know, you look at movies now and it's all about franchisable IPs, and I hate that. I hate it. I know, but I think that's what's going to drive away from it at some point for horror. Because I mean, you can't do that for so many horror films. Like, who is excited for Nun 2? Tell me, or send us an email.
I don't know.
Who is excited for Nun 1?
We saw it in the theater together, so
it was bad, and we hated it. And now there's a second one. I don't know. I'm definitely gonna watch it when it's already out to see just how terrible it is. That people say like they like hate watch things, and that's not really me, but like that might be the
That might be the one where I just go, I just want to watch this to see how terrible it
What
is.
if that's like the secret screening at Fantastic Fest this year?
That would be okay. I'm 100% in on that. That would be great. That would be
if
great.
James Wan, if you were in a theater with James Wan for a Q&A, I mean, are you asking him a question? And is the first question, how dare you?
I'm going to ask him a question in Malay. That'll,
of course,
it'll be
of
how
course,
dare.
of
It'll be
course.
how dare.
Of course you are. Oh God.
Anyway,
yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, Nate, I guess I need to know, what is your final cut?
Final cut.
Okay, I'm actually gonna flip. I'm gonna give Renfield a 6.
Oh, okay.
I'm moving up to 6, and then I'm gonna give Scream. Oh boy. And Renfield came from Chris McKay, who did Lego Batman, and it's going to be doing Lego Batman too. So, and the movie he did before this was The Tomorrow War, the very generic Chris Pratt movie. So that guy's on the upswing. So I'm gonna give that a 6. I'm gonna give Scream. It's either. Chemistry between the main characters was good when they weren't talking about all the rules every single time and like rehashing 9,000 things of history that just make absolutely no sense for any living person to deal with. Like I felt like I needed to get like an abacus out and just start. I gotta start adding things when they start talking about like this person was trying to finish the movie from the third person. By the way, we collected all of the memorabilia in one place, and that's where the murderings have. Like, oh my God, this is so fucking terrible. This is like a worse version of all Saw movie setups. It's like, yeah. Remember when Jigsaw had that whole room of all the stuff? Remember that? All the traps? And Jigsaw, they just did that, but like somehow worse. Because it's just like, hey, there's a bunch of knives and masks. Congratulations, everything's exactly the same. It's so stupid. I'm gonna give us a 4. I'm just gonna go down to a 4 on that. I did not care for it, Mitch. I didn't mean to harsh your vibe so much on this one.
You did, but
Jenna Ortega though, still money. She's batting like 1,000 like the last 2 years horror wise. So like that's still good. She's still solid. Melissa Barrera, her older sister, still great. Their friend Chad. That guy is actually pretty good too. No notes. Just the whole plot, which is the kind of the whole movie, it was just I didn't care for.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah.
Wait, sorry. So what did you give it?
It's a 4.
4. Yeah. I give this.
Don't let me bring you down. Keep it where you were.
No. I'm gonna give this 7 out of 10.
Okay.
I liked it, but I mean, again, I think this really just depends. I don't mind that they try to tie it all back and it's all this big loop. That part's fine. What I think this didn't work for me again is the very overt, like you don't have I know it's a Scream movie. Y'all don't have to do this, right? You don't have to like go over the rules and we get it. We remember. We've all seen enough of. We've all seen.
You're on number 6. You're on number 6.
Yeah, we got it. We everyone here is aware. Like I don't know what new generation y'all think is coming through for this, but we're good. So.
Well, don't worry, because Scream 6. I mean, we're gonna get a Scream 7, Mitch. So that's happening. Absolutely. Scream 6 came out 1 year after Scream, and it made 170 million. So you're gonna get another one. Yeah. Wait, you say Courtney Cox survived? Did I miss that?
They didn't show her as actually dead.
Oh my God, I hate that. Can I go down more points? I hate this so much. People should just be dead. Like, I think everyone like are people doing some sort of like organ hardening? Like, is there some sort of like medical treatment you can get where your organs become hard and like deflect knives? Because I don't know how any of these people are surviving any of these things. like they brought back stab the cheerleader, stab the world in this one, and then like she got 1,000 times stabbed again. It's like, how are these people not just like carrying around IV bags and wheelchairs the whole time? Like, I don't understand that part either. These people have been stabbed a comical amount of times at this point. Like comical. Yeah, I'm sticking with my 4. I was trying to get to a 5, but
that's all right.
I don't think it's that. We should watch Jeepers Creepers 4. That's what we should really do.
Jesus.
That would really get us in the mood.
Before we start talking ourselves into that, Nate, where can they find us?
You can find us. I don't know. Look, it can always be worse, but it could be Jeepers Creepers 4. You can find us as always at TXBot Mask Store, Text Podcast Master everywhere else. 346-246-3143. Leave us a voicemail, text podcastmaster@gmail.com. Mitch is back. He's not traveling. I don't know what. You still have like 3 children. So I mean, that makes it a challenge. So you got that going for you. You have enough. Okay, now you have enough people in your family now that if your oldest son becomes obsessed with movies and a serial killer and gets murdered by 2 strong women because he's trying to murder all of them, you can now have enough people in your family to then try to have 3 serial killers working together. You need to be a policeman, so you kind of got to start working on that. But then you can avenge. So okay, now I understand why you had that 3rd kid. You need 2 other kids. One, how did they never look up who this person's family was? I mean, what is happening? This movie sucks so bad. They didn't look up who the family was. Just like a cursory look.
They didn't read the warning, Nate.
They didn't read they didn't understand.
Or they didn't understand. Oh.
They didn't like, oh, who's this person's dad?
Who's that? Who's that dad? It's that guy.
Because that's what was the second one, right? It was the mom, Billy Loomis's mom, right? Was the killer in the second one. So this is, I don't like this. I don't like this. Some of the kills were cool though, but there wasn't that many. The bodega scene was good. Yeah, this is okay. Okay, yeah. I'm doing a second review at the very end of the episode. So there you go. Off the rails.
Well, on that note, did you even tell them where they can find us? Go off.
I did. It was just so long ago. You already forgot because it was so long ago. I just gave a mini review at the end. Well, never happened before.
From all of us here at Texas Podcast Massacre, thank you so much for tuning in. And just keep telling yourself it's only a movie. Good night.